See if you guys can hear me. All right, it says I'm live, so welcome you guys. Welcome. Donovan Sleek. I got my Hickam Field, Hawaii hat on. There's a flight leaving for Kaneohe Bay, Marine Corps Base, Tuesday. And I'm thinking about jumping on the transport and going, Navy C-40s, just airline seats, you just kind of it's like being on Southwest. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about going for a day or two. Hawaii for me, at least, it's no different than going to Las Vegas. If you're a California resident, especially Southern California, a 3-hour drive, 4-hour flight. What's the difference? You know what I mean? You're still in the United States as far as I'm concerned. But I know Hawaii is a great place. People always want to go there. But it's a state. So I got this a while back. And since we're having outlandish heat here, I got to wear this hat to cover my dome. Really comes in handy in the desert. I mean, hats like this is the hat to have. The baseball hats, that ain't cutting it because your neck getting all burnt up and stuff. So, yeah. Well, anyway, you guys, it is me, Donovan. It is 7/11/2025. My friend Demetra and her daughter's favorite store, 7-Eleven over in Japan. They could not stay out of the 7-Eleven stores while they were there. It is 6:45 p.m. If you guys saw my post earlier, I was at the gym and I got the alert that Karen Bass and the LA City Council is going to make available to the inconvenient illegal migrants cash cards, because of the work that they lost and all this other stuff. But yet, all these jobs were cut because of the budget, because of the migrants. But they keep finding this money for illegals, but there's no money for Americans. And all you bleeding heart liberals out there, you should be ashamed of yourself. You guys are a disgrace. You're a disgrace. You guys using that Bible and all these pastors out here that use that Bible, the Bible specifically says, obey Caesar's laws. It specifically says that. If the law is you got to come into a country a certain way and you break that law, you're going against God. Presidents and people like that are put there by God. These servants are put there by God. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. But I want you guys to understand this. When you guys have seen me on here ranting and doing this and doing, oh, Donovan has gone completely crazy. Oh my gosh, he must be a Republican. Oh my gosh, he's a Trumpster. No, I'm not. I am systematically looking at Black people who are being gentrified physically out of their neighborhoods and politically. Now, there's never any money for Black people in a super democratic state. Reparations should have passed just like that. It ain't like we had a Republican governor that would have vetoed the bill. No, our own Black, brown, and Asian people conspired together to sink that bill. But Donovan's crazy. Oh my gosh, look at this guy. Oh, how could he? Oh my God, Trump is this. I don't give a damn about Donald Trump, okay? I don't give a damn. But what I am seeing Donald Trump do is doing things that are beneficial to my specific group of people. I could be like a lot of the boule and not give a shit, right? I could do that. I could be in the DR. I could be in Japan. I could just be traveling the world. But I'm trying to get some information out there so that you guys will understand what is really going on. The Democratic Party always tell, oh, that's the party of Black people. Oh, that's the Black women is the backbone of the Democratic Party. All those Black women that just lost their jobs in the last jobs report. Are the Democrats doing anything about it since they're the backbone? If the backbone isn't there, then you're a jellyfish, right? You're an octopus, right? I'm trying to show you the lesser of the two evils would be the Republican Party. They don't come to your door and ask you for your vote every year. We already know what the Republican Party is going to do. We already know what the Republican Party is about, right? But the Democrats, oh, you get me in, they constantly lie to you. Oh, if you get me in, I'm going to get you the stimulus thing, and I'm going to send you a stimulus check, and then he shorts it $600. Oh, out of his own mouth, Joe Biden said, oh, you better get behind those Hispanics and the Mexicans and learn to work with them. It is now Democratic policy. I want Black people to understand this. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you guys are all into the kumbaya, ooh, kumbaya, my lord, all that bullshit, right? The truth is this. The Democratic Party has moved on from Black people. That's the bottom line. They've moved on. We're the ones that control the elections. But you know what? You guys are so goddamn brainwashed that they're not even worried about that. 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris. 78% of Black men voted for Kamala Harris. They don't have to give you anything. You're going to vote for them anyway. For those of you guys that don't live in California, you guys are still holding on to this bullshit utopian idea of what California was in the 90s and the 80s and the early 2000s. Oh, it's a beautiful place, it's got these great things going on, and hood and all this other stuff. That's not California anymore. That's not Southern California anymore. It is very hard to find Black people in California because we can't afford to be here. The fact of the matter is, this economic system that we call capitalism here in the United States is predicated on Black people being at the bottom of the system. Ask yourself this: how could Asians, predominantly Vietnamese people, come here in the 1970s during the Vietnam War and the fall of Saigon, get all this government help, and now surpass Black people in regards to business loans and being actually Asians in California are the biggest landlords. They're the number one landlords. I'm starting to see Vietnamese Asians buying properties in my neighborhood. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying. The second biggest Vietnamese community is Little Saigon in Orange County, California. Delineation. This is what all these other groups do. Africans too. They come here, Little Haiti, join together. We tried that for 60 years. We've been telling you guys, we all have the same thing in common. We all have the same oppressor, blah, blah, blah. Y'all didn't want that. Y'all didn't want that. So now what has happened is you have all these LA workers that were laid off because they busted the budget because of illegal immigration. But somehow they've got resources to give illegal immigrants because they were inconvenienced by ICE. Explain that. You've got the most homeless in Southern California. In California is Black women and children. Let me say that again. The most homeless in California is Black women and children. The most homeless group across the United States are Black people. No money for them. Oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Both parties say that to the American people. By the way, Black people are the only people specifically mentioned in the Constitution. 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. So we're citizens. So you mean to tell me you will the Democratic Party is prioritizing illegal immigrants that should not be here over regular American citizens? There's nearly 1 million, if not more, veterans that go to sleep on the sidewalk every night. It's just disgraceful. But they can't find resources for that. But Donovan's crazy. Oh, I'm a Trumpster. Illegal immigration hurts the group that is at the bottom of the economic system. Who is at the bottom of this economic system? Black people. So it is a monumental threat to my group of people. Like Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump, he's doing something that protects my people. Where do they get the resources for this? Didn't they try that in New York, giving them cash money benefits and all this other stuff? Busted the budget. We can't even give housing vouchers anymore to our own citizens. They're cutting food stamps. Or are they? They're cutting Section 8. Or are they? They're doing this thing against the American people. Well, see, yeah, that's because of Trump and he's a Republican or whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Out of Joe Biden's mouth, he said, get behind the Hispanics. That is Democratic policy. 17 to 22 million illegals were let into this country in less than 4 years. You can't do enough fucking to catch up to that. At least my group can't. You can't make enough kids in a 4-year period to make up for that. The census says Black people are about 40 million of us, maybe 42. I just told you between 17 and 22 million illegals were flooded into this country. If you understand anything about anything, the people that have flooded in this country are not a threat. They're not a threat to me. They're not a threat to you. They can't vote. They can't do this. They can't do that, right? Civilly, they have no civil rights. Civilly. When you enter a country that you're not a citizen of, you have no civil rights. You have human rights, unalienable human rights, but you have no civil rights because you're not a citizen of that country. The threat to the American people, and I'm going to talk about my group specifically, is those 17 to 22 million people that have come into this country. What are they going to do while they're here? The average court case, immigration court case, takes about 5 years. So you think these people are just going to work and going home or wherever they live to their casa and just chilling? They're having babies. Those immigrants, children and grandchildren, are a threat to my children and grandchildren and will wipe them out. Political voice nullified. But what does this say about the Democratic Party? They are caping for people that aren't even citizens. How do you guys not see this? How do you not see this? I loved being in the Dominican Republic, but I would never cheer for it. I would never lay my life down for it. Never. But what are these Democrats doing? I mean, you guys tell me. Why am I upset? Why do you think I'm upset? Why do you guys think I'm upset? Homeless. You've got people that have student loans. Black people, we have student loans. Black women, the most educated women. Bullshit. You're the most enrolled and you're the most in debt. Okay. Anyway, delusional. The point is, what are the Democrats doing to help with the student debt? Nothing. People can't even buy homes. They can't even pay their rent. Where is the rental assistance for the American worker? Why are you not concerned about that? But I see these bleeding heart liberals, especially when I see a black woman out there and an idiot black man caping for illegals, and they can't even pay their rent. As a matter of fact, as I was leaving the gym today, because they have the monitor on, and when I saw the news, it flashed on, and that's how I got alerted. And then my phone alerted me what Karen Bass is going to do. And by the way, for those of you guys that don't know, Karen Bass was married to a Hispanic man, right? Latin man. I don't know what his demographic is, but a Latin man for 6 years, and they had a daughter. And unfortunately, in the early 2000s, her daughter and her son-in-law, who's a black guy, they were killed in an accident, auto accident. And so she has stepchildren now. I guess she remarried and stuff. She has stepchildren. But I sit here and I wonder, these black politicians, they go so hard for everybody else, but they don't do anything for black people. And people, how do you sit there and tell me to vote Democrat and vote for what? To get what? To get what? It's totally ridiculous. But I'm sitting here talking to the lady, black lady, older black lady, probably in her early 70s. And she's like, oh my God, yes, oh my God, you know, the troops and stuff. And she's from LA. You know, she's the implant into my city because she probably got gentrified out of her neighborhood. Oh my God, it's just so terrible what's going on there, right? And I'm looking at her and I'm just like, you know, and I try not to get into conversations and battle of logic with people that are unarmed, okay? I don't think that's fair when a person obviously doesn't know what they're talking about. So I don't even waste my time. So I'm just listening to her. Yeah. Yeah, those illegals, they sure got it bad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, I said, yeah, just like the news said, they found 10 underage kids working at a marijuana farm. Yeah, this is just terrible. And then the owners of the marijuana farm put out a statement talking about they didn't know. They didn't know. What's the penalty for these CEOs when they get caught employing illegal immigrants and children that are underage? But that's what you guys are caping for. You bleeding hearts are caping for a slave class. Benny, stop. And it's a shame. And it's a shame. And she's talking about all this stuff, right? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. I said, how do you explain the underage children that were working at this place? Well, you know, I said, hey, they get all the resources that they can. You know, they're doing better here than they are where they come from, right? But I didn't want to engage her. And she's talking about, oh, you know, we got to help them. We just got to do, we just can't let them, look at the money they lost, and the work, and the ICE is just so disruptive and stuff like that, right? I'm like, yeah, okay, well, have a nice day, and God bless you, whatever, and have a nice day. And as she gets in her car, and because my car's turned, I backed in, so my car's turned to the back of her car, and she's on one side, and I'm on the other side. And for those of us that are here in California, I'm very sure you guys have seen all the tags that are expired and people are still driving on expired tags because they can't afford to pay for the registration. And they're just driving. They're taking their chances, right? I looked at this 70-something-year-old woman, or late 60s, whatever it was. I looked at the back of her car. She had a tag that was expired for 2 years. I don't know if that's her car. Maybe it's her son's car or her children's car. I don't know. But whoever it is, she is driving on a tag that is 2 years expired. This is what's going on here in California, you guys. This ain't the Charlie's Angel thing. This ain't the Love Boat. That California has long sailed, okay? Here's a lady who is driving on expired tags, and she's feeling sorry for illegal migrants that should not be here. But I'm the crazy one, according to you guys. What I'd say to people that support this bullshit, I want you guys to go to any country you choose. Go there without your passport and see what happens. Let's see if they're going to fund you and give you cash cards. Let's see if they're going to welcome you with open arms. Let's see if they're going to imprison you. Let's see if they're going to put you in detention centers like we do here and deport you back to the United States. Isn't it funny that when you go to a Democratic liberal and you say, hey, you've got the resources, go over to Mexico, and Mexico's only 90 miles from my house right now. The Mexican border is literally 90 miles from my house. So an hour and a half drive, I could be in Ysidro and cross the border. But when you ask these liberals to go over there without their passports and just do what it is you're championing that these people do and see if they're going to do that for you when you go over there. We just saw the video of the Mexicans in Mexico City that are fighting the gentrification that's going on in Mexico City. You go to any country you want to choose and see if the people in that country are going to champion your cause to stay there. I will go to an ATM machine. I will withdraw all of my money, mortgage my house, sell my cars, and I will bet everything I have you will be deported without question, without cause, without merit, without habeas corpus. Those of you guys that don't know, due process. Don't ever tell me my business. Don't ever tell me my business. Do I feel for these? You don't see me going out there calling ICE on people. I don't do that. But the law is the law. Oh, but what about the Americans that are being caught up in the ICE raids? Well, what about, I hate the whataboutisms. Well, how many black people do you know that falsely got arrested and had to go through the system? 80s, 90s, 60s, 70s. That's a norm in my community. Of course, some people are going to be caught up, and if it's a mistake, it's a mistake. That isn't justification to drop our immigration laws. But do you see how this works? Do you see how the propaganda that the news is trying to narrate? There was a thing today as well where a father of 3 Marines, 3 of his sons are Marines. The father was caught up in a deportation sweep. They're trying to make it seem like it's just, oh my God, mistakes are going to be made. You guys heard of collateral damage in the military? Some people are going to get killed unnecessarily. Not planned damage, but it's going to happen. How many people if you're black, how many people in your family got falsely arrested? I didn't see not one Hispanic come to anybody's defense when that happened. Well, you shouldn't have done a crime, or you shouldn't have been out there, or whatever. Democratic policy has moved on from black people. I want you guys to understand that. And if that is the case, which it is, you should be an independent voter. I'm not going to tell you to be a Republican because I'm not a Republican. You need to be an independent voter. It makes no sense for you to continue to give your vote to a party that ain't gonna do shit for you. Well, the Republican, I just told you be an independent. Why do you keep bringing up the Republicans? I just told you to be independent. But there's no point in you being an independent if you're still gonna vote Democrat down the ticket. I want you guys to look at my moniker here, right? Right here. I am the recovering Democrat. What does that mean? Recovering Democrat. Have you guys ever had a family member or somebody that went into recovery for some kind of addiction? Right? If a person is a alcoholic, is there ever a cure for being an alcoholic? No. You're going to be an alcoholic the rest of your life. If you're a drug addict, you're going to be a drug addict for the rest of your life. I was born, bred a Democrat. I don't know why. I'm a Catholic. I don't know why I'm a Catholic. All I know is my mom is a Catholic. My dad was a Methodist, so I don't know how they got together. But anyway, my grandfather's a Catholic. My grandmother's a Catholic on my mom's side. We're just Catholic. So if I'm a recovering Democrat, I'm always going to be a Democrat, fundamentally. But I'm a recovering Democrat. So what does that mean? If you're an alcoholic, is it okay for you to have a few sips of wine and a few beers and stuff? Of course not, because then you will relapse. It's bad for you. The Democratic Party is bad for me. But that doesn't mean I'm not a Democrat. I'm just a Democrat that can't be a Democrat. You guys, if you can't see what's going on, you're the problem. So anyway, I don't want to keep this too long. I just came back from the gym. I want to go take a shower. I got to go walk the Benny, who's right here. He's waiting to be walked. And I just wanted to get this off of my mind. Don't ever tell me my business. You've got American people whose benefits are being cut. Medicaid is being cut, and the most affected group of people that are being affected by the Medicaid cuts are white people. They're the biggest group that receives Medicaid or whatever the situation is. But other people are being cut too. All of these cuts are happening to people, and the Democratic Party in Los Angeles can find money for people that should not even be here. What a slap in the face. And I'm a veteran. What a kick in the ass. But you bleeding heart liberals, please continue to destroy this country. Because that's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. I'm Donovan Sadiq. If you agree with this or if you don't agree with it, let me hear what you got to say in the comments. I mean, you guys pump your chest out for those illegals. So, don't be afraid of me. Come on and educate me on why my tax dollars should go to people who should not be here. And I have veterans that are sleeping on the street. Please explain that to me and make it make sense. I don't think you can do it. Hey, you guys, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get that on Google Play, Apple Store. Brother Phil Scott, Dimitri K, Vicky Dillard, Wong Gale, a whole bunch of content creators are on that platform, and we talk about all issues that deal with the African diaspora. Also, don't forget to check out Dimitri K and I on Sundays, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central Time. A lot of stuff going on in the world, but you're talking about a kick in the ass. This is a kick in the ass. Democratic Party. They continue to fuck over Black people. Just a fact. Please try to defend that. Please. I want to hear. Don't tell me that's the party of the people. Don't tell me that.